This is Cabinet of Curiosities with Rebecca Navarro, a space where we collect
curious stories about art.
What would you preserve in a cabinet of curiosities? As a child, I remember that when I visited my grandparents, my grandmother had an old wooden cabinet with a special drawer. In that drawer, she kept all kinds of objects, such as comics, empty cosmetic cases, useless plastic pieces, and other things that were probably of little value to her, but were treasures to us, her very young grandchildren, wonders that she knew we would appreciate. You have probably come across a drawer or space like that at some point in your life, a place that contains treasures, objects that spark curiosities in themselves. Throughout history, people have collected, cared for, or shared such collections that piqued their curiosity. For example, Roman emperors, Egyptian pharaohs, and kings and queens often had collections of art, objects, and curiosities that they displayed in their palaces and residences. Or during the Renaissance, some collectors focused on accumulating ancient coins and medals. These collections were often displayed in special rooms. Churches and religious institutions have also formed their own collections, including sacred art, reliquaries, religious icons, and other very strange objects related to religion. But there are also the famous cabinets of curiosities. No, I am not referring to Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities, my friends. The Cabinet of Curiosities is essentially the precursor to museums, emerging between the 16th and 17th centuries during the Renaissance and the Enlightenment. Also known as Wunderkammer, and please excuse my pronunciation, it is a word in German of cabinets of wonders. These cabinets were private collections of objects, artifacts, specimens, and rarities that were gathered, displayed, and curated by wealthy individuals, scholars, collectors, scientists, explorers, nobility, and individuals who had passion and time and money for knowledge and the desire to showcase their intellectual interests of the world. I know, it sounds quite colonial. In fact, cabinets of curiosity emerged during a time of exploration, scientific discovery, and colonial expansion, or rather, colonial invasion. And although collectors sought to document the diversity and complexity of the world, they were obviously in a different context from the present. Or not so much, but that's another topic. The cabinets of curiosities contain a wide range of objects, including natural specimens like fossils, shells, taxidermed animals, as well as art, such as paintings, sculptures, or scientific instruments, antiquities, ethnographic objects from different cultures, and other things like unusual minerals or historical relics, all curiosities. The organization of objects in these cabinets was often eclectic and idiosyncratic, reflecting the collector's personal interests and worldview. Objects were typically displayed in cabinets or glass-fronted shelves and were organized based on aesthetic criteria rather than systematic classification. Sounds familiar? You're probably already imagining that they played a crucial role in the development of modern museums. Over time, the pursuit of knowledge became more systematic and scientific. This led to the establishment of public museums, such as the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford in 1683 and the British Museum in London in 1753, which aimed to organize and categorize objects for public education and research. The legacy of the cabinets of curiosities can still be seen in modern museums, especially in natural history museums and ethnographic collections. However, contemporary museums strive to prioritize scholarly curation, education, and the careful preservation of artifacts over the eclectic and personal nature of the earlier cabinets. As you can see, they say that curiosity killed the cat, but in reality, as curious beings that we humans are, curiosity also gave rise to museums. In this version that will be released once a month, called The Cabinet of Curiosities by Arte Inclusivo, Inclusive Art, the podcast, I intend to share some curious facts about art, such as stolen art, magical portals, symbols in art, the rock stars of the auction house, and many more topics to reevaluate, decolonize, and appropriate the exclusive cabinet of curiosities into an inclusive one. See you next time. This was Cabinet of Curiosities, a space where we
Discover, preserve, and collect
many curious stories about art.